everyone, myself Chaitanya Sahni from class 8th Devi Children's Academy Gola branch. So today I am your science teacher and I will teach you about the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Before learning about this, you should know what are elements. So elements are the substances which cannot be broken into simpler forms by using physical and chemical processes. So these elements are categorized into two, metals and non-metals. So today the main thing that I am going to teach you is how to distinguish between metals and non-metals on the basis of their physical properties. So the first physical property is luster. Metals are lustrous as most of the metals have shiny surface. For let's take an example, gold and silver are used in making jewelry as they have lustrous surface. Non-metals are non-lustrous, but there is an exception in this case, that iodine have a shiny surface. Hardness. Metals are hard whereas non-metals are not hard. Let's understand this by using examples. So what is this? This is an iron nail. It is made up of iron, means it is a metal. When we will try to hammer it, then it will not break into pieces, means metals are hard. Whereas let's take an example of a piece of coal, which is a non-metal, and if we will try to hammer it, then it will break into pieces. That means it is not hard, it is brittle. So the third physical property is malleability. Malleability means that a substance can be beaten into sheets. Metals are malleable. Let's also understand this from an example. This is an aluminium foil which is made up of aluminium. So from this we can conclude that metals are malleable. Non-metals are non-malleable as they are brittle, and if we try to beat them into sheets, then they will break into several pieces. The fourth physical property is ductility. Ductility means that a substance can be drawn into wires. As you all have seen the electric wires, they are made up of coppers, means the metals are ductile. Whereas non-metals cannot be drawn into wires. The fifth physical property is sonority. Sonority means a substance should be beaten to produce an ringing sound. Metals can produce ringing sound. Let's understand this by an example. This is made up of aluminium, which means it is a metal. It produces a ringing sound. It means metals are sonorous. Now, non-metals are non-sonorous. As we will try to beat them and produce a ringing sound, then they will break into several pieces. The sixth and seventh property is conduction of electricity and conduction of heat. Metals are good conductor of electricity and good conductor of heat. Let's understand by an example. Copper is used to make an electric wire, means it is a good conductor of electricity. But the coating on the top of the wire is made up of plastic to protect us from electric shocks. Metals are good conductor of heat. We can understand this by an example that our cooking utensils are made up of metals so that they can conduct heat, and it is used in making of food. Non-metals are not good conductor of electricity and heat, but there is an exception in these both cases, as graphite can conduct electricity and diamond can conduct heat. So now I am going to ask you some questions on what I have teach you now. This is a lead. It is made up of graphite. So can you tell me what it is, a non-metal or a metal? Yes, it is a non-metal, as it can be beaten, it can be broken down in several pieces. If we will put some pressure, for example, broken. And what is this? It is made up of iron. So can you tell it is non-metal or a metal? Yes, it is a metal. As if I will drop it, it will produce a ringing sound, as you heard. So I hope you would have learned something new from this video. Thank you. Have a nice day.